What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. With SOD, or Season of Discovery, only 25 days away, today I'm bringing you another class breakdown of all the spells and new abilities that you will be getting for this class. Personally, this is my favorite class. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Warlock. Alright, so we're going to start off with the chest engravings, chest runes for Warlocks. The first one up on our list here is Demonic Tactics. Increases the melee and spell critical strike chance of you and your pet by 10%. Pretty cool. If anyone doesn't realize this, this is actually the two-piece set bonus from TOGC in Wrath of the Lich King, and I know this because I still have my two-piece on my Warlock, and I'm replacing it this coming week, which is awesome. Then we have Lake of Fire up next. Rain of Fire also leaves a lake of fire on the ground that increases all fire damage you deal and your demon pet deals to affected enemies by 40% for 15 seconds. That is massive. Next up on the list here, we have Soul Siphon. Increases the amount drained by your Drain Life and Drain Soul spells by an additional 6% for each of your Warlock shadow effects afflicting the target, up to a maximum of 18% additional effect. That's pretty crazy. I mean, imagine a drain tanking build with this, and combined with a couple of other glyphs, or a couple of other runes that Warlocks get. We'll get to those a little bit later. This could be a pretty crazy rune to use. Next up on the list, we have Master Channeler. Master Channeler. Gain the Master Channeler ability. Your Drain Life is no longer channeled, lasts 15 seconds with a 15-second cooldown, costs 100% more mana, and heals you for 50% more each time it deals damage. So I'm assuming that this turns Drain Life into a dot, which is actually kind of ridiculous. I'm not really sure how this works, actually. If you guys want to drop some comments down below, let me know what you think. But it sounds like it takes it from being a channeled, channeled cast, and puts it on them as a dot for 15 seconds, which that's pretty crazy. I didn't look at this beforehand, so I didn't realize how insane that was, but that's pretty nutty. With that being said, let's move on to the leg engravings. Okay, so we have 4 leg engravings for Warlocks. The first one being Everlasting Affliction. Drain Life, Drain Soul, Shadow Bolt, Shadow Cleave, and Searing Pain, Incinerate, and Haunt refresh the duration of corruption on the target back to its maximum duration. Another thing very similar to Wrath. You know how if you're playing Affliction Warlock in Wrath, you get all your dots up and you're spamming Shadow Bolt, and that Shadow Bolt is constantly refreshing corruption. So that's pretty cool. It seems like Affliction Lock is going to be pretty strong in probably World PvP and PvE from what the looks of this are. Demonic Grace. Surge with Fell Energy, increasing your pets and your own dodge chance by 30% and your chance to be critically struck with all attacks by 30%. Lasts 6 seconds. So this is a tanking ability. Anyone here who's seen BlizzCon, I'm sure you've heard all the crazy stuff about Warlocks being able to tank now. And I did watch the interview that Crix did, and he asked, like, are they going to be able to be like main tanks? Can they compete with warriors? And the answer was yes. And by going over some of these runes, and these are only the runes that go up to level 25. There's going to be more runes added to the game in the future. It's going to be pretty crazy to see some Warlock main tanks, main tanking Rag and big name bosses like that. But next up on the list here, we have Demonic Pact, another one from Wrath of the Lich King. Your pet critical strikes apply the Demonic Pact effect to your party members for 45 seconds. Demonic Pact increases spell damage and healing by 10% of your spell damage for 13, whichever is higher. Does not work on subjugated demons. So we have Demonic Pact, another nice party-wide buff. And then we have Incinerate. Burn the enemy for 96 to 111 damage and increase all fire damage you deal by 25% for the next 15 seconds. A huge destruction ability right there. Let's move on to the hand engravings. All right, the hands. This is where stuff gets pretty crazy. These are where some of my favorite runes for Warlocks are. We have Chaos Bolt. Sends a bolt of chaotic fire at the enemy, dealing 225 to 286 fire damage. Chaos Bolt always hits, cannot be resisted, and its knowledge causes all of your fire spells to pierce through absorption effects. We all know and love Chaos Bolt. I'm glad to see it in vanilla. We have Shadow Bolt Volley. Gain the Shadow Bolt Volley ability. Your Shadow Bolt now strikes up to 5 targets within a chain distance of 10 yards, but for 20 reduced damage. This is humongous. So now your Shadow Bolt is going to be cleaving 5 targets when you're running dungeons. All right, and my personal favorite, so glad to see this in vanilla, Metamorphosis. We have Metamorphosis in vanilla, you heard it right. Transform into a demon, increasing armor by 500%, reducing the chance you will be critically hit by 6%, increase your threat by 100%, increase mana gain from life tap by 100%, transforming the functionality of some of your abilities and granting some new abilities. Searing Pain is now an instant cast when you're in Metamorphosis form. Shadow Bolt becomes Shadow Cleave, a shadow melee attack that hits up to 3 nearby targets but has a 6-second cooldown, so a Shadow Cleave. Curse of Recklessness now also taunts your target to attack you for 3 seconds, but gains a 10-second cooldown and range is reduced to melee, so you have a taunt as well. Demon Charge is an ability that you gain. Charge at an enemy and stun it for 1 second, cannot be used in combat. Demonic Howl forces all nearby enemies to focus attacks on you for 6 seconds. Seeing Warlocks in vanilla running around with Metamorphosis, I mean, imagine this in world PvP, right? Tanking raids aside, imagine fighting a Warlock who's hurling Chaos Bolts at you, cleaving you with Shadow Bolts, you and your friends, and then pops into Metamorphosis form, which is not a cooldown, by the way. It's a shapeshift form in this, so treat it as like a Druid Bear form, and then charges at you and starts meleeing you and casting instant Searing Pains while their pet is whacking on you. Gonna be pretty crazy, and I'm very excited for this. Warlock is my favorite class in the game, and I cannot wait to mess around with this. And then, last but not least, we have Haunt. Unleash a Ghostly Soul on an enemy, dealing 108 to 127 damage, and increase all shadow damage over the time you deal to the target by 20%. When the Haunt ends or is dispelled, you will be healed for all of the damage it dealt to your target. Another big one right there. Warlocks, in my opinion, get a huge W here. I mean, all of their runes so far up to level 25 are completely class altering. It's going to feel like a completely different class, and I'm very excited to dive in and play it. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'm really curious to see how you guys feel about these changes. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It really helps me out a lot, and share it with your friends, and consider subscribing to the channel. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next time I post a video. And if you want to hang out with me live, I do stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/hammerdance Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. But stay tuned, guys. I have a video coming out for every single class, breaking down all of the runes for each class in the game, so that we go into this knowing, you know, have a good idea of what class you want to play on day 1. But anyways, guys, that's all from me. Thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one.